Okay, so we are going to be solving a little bit more complicated polynomials, ones that you can't just factor right away using by grouping or any of the other factoring things. But we do know how to factor, or we do know how to solve linear equations and quadratic equations. So in this first problem, you're given one of the factors of this function. So that means that x plus 2 times something equals 2x cubed, the function, plus x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, so then to get that something right here, we got to divide this by this using long division, or, well, because this is linear, you can also use synthetic division. But I'm just going to use long division to kind of remind you about it. So then 2x cubed plus 1x squared minus 5x plus 2. Because this you learned in first semester of algebra. Algebra 2. Algebra 3. Sorry, last semester in December or November, somewhere around there. So x goes into 2x cubed, 2x squared. And then you gotta multiply this one with both of these. So you have to multiply with that one and that one. So that's gonna be 2x cubed. And then 2 and 2 is positive, 4x squared. Okay? So now what you need to do is you need to change the sign. So you got to go minus, minus. On both of them, you have to change the sign. So then these cancel, and 1 minus 4 is negative 3x squared. So then x goes into negative 3x squared, negative 3x. So negative 3x, so now you got to multiply this with this and this. So that's going to be negative 3x squared. And then that's going to be a negative 6x. We got to bring this down, negative 5x. And then we got to change the sign of these. So you're going to do, so now these cancel, and negative 5 plus 6 is just x, and then you bring this one down, plus 2. Well, x goes into x one time. Okay, so then if you multiply 1 times x, that's x plus 2. Change the sign, and you're supposed to get 0 as your remainder. This is the remainder. So that means that if you multiply these two, x and this, then that equals your quadratic. And you want to set it equal to 0. So now you have your two factors, x plus 2 times 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. So we set each of these two factors equal to 0. X plus 2 equals 0. 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract the 2. So x equals negative 2. And then this, I'm going to try to factor before using the quadratic formula or completing the square. I'm going to try to factor that. And so I'm going to multiply, this is a, b, c. So remember a times c. In this case it's 2 times 1. And it has to add up to a negative 3. So negative 2 plus a negative 1. So now remember your a is 2, so that means you got to put it in twice. 2x minus 2, 2x minus 1 equals 0. Then you reduce this, so that's going to be x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 equals 0. So now we set each factor equal to 0. So we're going to have plus 1 plus 1. So x equals 1, add the 1, so that's 2x equals 1, x is 1/2. So those are your three answers right there, negative 2, 1, and 1/2. So that means that if we were to graph this function, you're going to see them on the calculator. If you go to, y equals, and I graph this function, so we're going to do 2x cubed plus x squared minus 5x plus 2. We graph it. Okay, so you see 1, 2, 3, but you can't see it that much. Maybe the window you can go from -5 to 5 on the x min and x max and then graph. You're going to see it a little better. So here's -2, 1/2, and then that 1 right there. Now, on the table, because these are, well, I put my table set at halves. So if you do second table set, you can put it by 0.5. So you can have see the 1/2 on there. So at 0.5, it's 0. At 1, it's 0. And then at -2, it's also 0. So that's how you can double check yourself as well. Go ahead and go to the next video.